Today is Sunday, July 28th, 2019, and this is the Below Boards Edgers Strategy Table. And the topic for today is the phrase, "There's always a way." So anytime you're feeling fearful or you don't see the next fork in the road to take or whatever it is, just say there's always a way. And I also love the phrase, do your best and it's the best you can do. I say that to myself all the time, and so feel free to borrow that. So it's a challenge, but there's always a way for me to figure out what resources and freedoms you all have. And I don't want to go into a lot of stuff if you just can't have access to it, because then you'll just get frustrated. For instance, I heard one of the young loyalists protectors asking for a table and a couple chairs after I put up that bouldering report yesterday, and that's sort of mean of them, but they won't even give you a couple pieces of furniture to work out on. But you can always do calisthenics. All right, and I was an aerobics instructor, and so you can get an incredible workout without moving more than a few feet in either direction. So just start out with finding ways to stretch your body, like I said, touching your toes, or getting on your hands and feet and stretching your calves by lifting up your ankles and then extending them. And you could stretch your upper torso by stretching arms of your head and then just swaying side to side. You can also twist. I wish I could demonstrate more for you. And doing the splits, sitting down cross-legged and bending forward and then from side to side, and then stretching one leg out and stretching your arms towards that one leg, and then putting one arm over your head and trying to touch your toe, and then doing it on the other side. And then you can do sit-ups, you can do push-ups. If push-ups with the toes and the hands are too much, do push-ups with on your knees and hands with your body, a straight ironing board, and your feet up in the air until your upper body gets strong enough. Sit-ups, or if you need some strengthening there, do crunches, which is you get on your back and you cross your legs up in the air and you put your arms behind your back and you just keep touching your elbows to your knees. And that can kind of take the strain off your back until you develop your stomach muscles. And then you can sit on your side and do side leg lifts, and on each side. Even like on one side, bend your knee, keeping your body perfectly straight, and even getting up on an elbow and doing a leg lift gets a different sort of muscles. You can get on your hands and knees and do leg lifts up in the air for the glutes and lower back, and then you can do side kicks on either side. So hopefully that's helpful, and the more you do it, the more you get into it, the more you feel good. Really strongly recommend you guys in this situation, which leads into the next part of this topic, which is start to have some structure for yourselves. And I used to make a list I used to be really chaotic with both my eating habits and just all my behavior patterns, and it didn't do me any good. And then I made a commitment to get more disciplined, to try to eat at the same time, be aware of what I'm eating, and just start out the day with a pen and paper and just structure your day. This is when I need to do some work. This is when I'm going to eat. This is when I'm going to exercise. This is when I'm going to do some reading or studying, and you catch the drift. And it doesn't mean you have to become a robot with this stuff. It's just guidelines to help you keep focused and help with the emotional stresses that you're under. And let's see. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about in this area. I wonder what it was. Well, anyway, I just what this is doing. These little habitual things that I'm encouraging you to do is it's going to help you to present yourself as a more successful person in the world. If you look like you're in good shape and you look like you're somebody who's calm and centered and seems to have a good attitude and has a vision and a plan for where they want to go in life, people will want to partner with you. They'll want to hire you. They'll want to be a part of your team. And so whenever you're out there looking for some work, just remember these three aspects that will give you an edge over everybody else, even if you don't have the shiniest suit or the neatest haircut. And the first one is your commitment to service. If you're being interviewed, just use that kind of language. Is that I really enjoy working with a team. I'm always looking out for ways that I can support people I'm working with. That's a joy for me. The next is performance. So, before you go into a meeting, I would just take some deep breaths and envision success. And then when you walk in there, you look them in the eye, you shake their hand, you stand straight. When you're sitting, you're sitting straight, and you're not fidgeting, and you just exude somebody who seems both at ease and confident, and just envision yourself as somebody that anyone would love to work with, right? And then the next thing is skills. So this gets back to your dream job. And the more you spend time just studying and researching fields, areas where you would like to work and where you think your skills would shine, the more homework you do in advance of presenting yourself for work, the more of an edge you're just going to have. And that goes for a particular company that you'd want to work for. Do some homework so you know what they are. For instance, I'll give you an example. Let's say you want to work in the airline industry, and either as a comptroller or maybe somebody who designs airplane parts. So leading up to getting a job, you just start studying the areas, trying to get it as specific as possible as the specific area you'd want to work in. And then you would show up at the airport and just kind of walk around and get yourself familiar with it. See if there's any openings. Even if you start off just checking baggage, or you guys would probably be good at those scanners. And there's your skill set. And just try to get a job there. And you can go out to the private, where they have the little airplanes that people rent, or they keep their private airplanes. And in your spare time, you just kind of go out there and get to know some pilots. And either there or if you get the job in the airport, you look for the gurus. They're always there. They're these guys that love to talk about what they do. They have a passion, and they would love nothing more than for a young person to come up and say, I just love what you do, and I'm hoping someday I can do something like that. Can you tell me a little bit, some tips, and just make friends. And networking is really good that way too, because sometimes if you just go and not look needy, or show up with a sense of entitlement, like I deserve to do this, but you show up with just an open, I just have a passion for airplanes, and so I'm just looking for people who want to help me learn more about them, and have that kind of open-ended attitude. so that the person that you're networking in feels light, they don't feel obligated to you at all, and then you become a good listener. All right, so I hope all those tips are helpful. And when I remembered what I was going to say earlier, when you're writing stuff down, I don't know if you have actual like pen and paper supplies, but I would recommend writing stuff down rather than going on an electronic device. And I really recommend as much as possible, unless you're doing disciplined research for your freedom plan, for your vision, to stay off electronic devices as much as possible, because they're just really finding out all these studies they're really unhealthy for our brains. So, all right, I'll wrap it up for today. Thanks again, you guys, for listening and tuning in, and may the force be with you. Bye for now.